Okay. Now you mentioned that Anthony DePippo was selling guns.
He had a gun or two the day they found Josette Wright in the woods, or pieces of her in the woods. He called me up and said, "Do you want to go to Washington Heights and get rid of these guns?" And I said, "No, it's Thanksgiving or whatever." He said, "No, I'm not going to do that." "Well, come with me. Come with me." I said, "No, we got to get rid of these guns and get some blow." So I said, "No."
And you said no. I'm not going with you to get rid of those guns.
I said, "No, it's not. No."
And you knew those were guns from the murder.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm not going with you to get rid of those guns. Screw you.
No,
right?
You get in trouble. It's your business.
Yeah.
That's when he got the charge of the cocaine, fourth substance, whatever the hell charge he got.
Okay.
I believe he got caught that night with Krivak.
So right around the time when Miss Wright's remains were found, you had a conversation with Anthony on the phone where he said, I got to get rid of the guns from the murder, right?
Well, he said, "I have guns to get rid of."
And you knew they were from the murder,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
And he wanted you to go with him, right?
Yes.
And you said, I'm not going with you.
Right.
Right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
You said, do it yourself. I'm not helping you hide this crime. Right?
Yeah.
And did he tell you where he was going to hide them?
He said he was going to sell them for cocaine.
He's going to sell the guns that they used in the murder for cocaine.
Right.
Okay. And do you know who he sold them to?
No. Somewhere down on Broadway or Washington Heights area.
What did Castaldo say when you told him about him selling the guns?
Objection to the form.
I'm sorry?
He's going to sometimes make an objection for the record.
Okay.
But unless someone tells you not to answer, you can always answer the question.
Okay.
What did Castaldo say when you told him about Anthony trying to sell those guns?
Objection.
He didn't say anything.
Did he think that was important information?
Objection.
You don't remember? You have to answer
You're
yes or
allowed
no.
to answer.
He wasn't happy about it.
I bet he wasn't. When did you first tell Castaldo about the guns?
Later on, during
Sometime in 96 or 97?
Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of a gun? Do you remember what kind of gun Anthony had during the murder? You may not know the name of it. Just describe the gun for me.
A 9mm.
You think it was a 9mm?
Pretty sure.
Was he carrying it in his waistband? Where did he pull it out of?
I think his back.
You're showing us now he's pulling it out of your back. So at some time during the rape, did he pull out the gun during the rape or the murder? I'm sorry, that was a bad question. At what point during your version of the attack on Miss Wright did Anthony DePippo pull the 9mm gun from his waistband?
After I said to him, "Leave her alone, she's just a baby," and then he stood up and said, "Shut the fuck up or you're next."
And and it's on video, but you were just holding up your hand because he was holding a 9mm gun at that time.
Or a gun, yes.
Okay, and he was pointing at you.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why you were so scared through all these years is because
my life was threatened.
Your life was threatened with a gun.
Right.
He pointed a gun at you.
Right.
That was the first thing that's ever happened, right?
Ever.
You'll never forget that as long as you live.
Nope. I'll never forget that she died either.
But you'll never forget Anthony DePippo in that van pointing a 9mm gun in your face, correct?
Right. That's right. And I don't know why that wasn't submitted in court.
It seems weird to me. You have any idea why it wasn't submitted in court?
Nope.
All right. Where was Andy Krivak's gun? Did he carry in his waistband too?
I don't know.
When did he buy his new Cadillac?
I don't know when he bought it, but it's brand new.
Okay. And
CTS.
Did you ever talk to him about getting money for this?
Nope.
Did you ever talk to him about the case?
Nope.
How close has he lived to you?
15 minutes.
Okay. And when did you see the Cadillac?
I seen it by my house in a plaza, and I seen him driving it into land.
Okay.
With his new wife. So good for him.
Okay.
They're all going to get judged.
Now, in addition to the 9mm handgun that Anthony had, did he have any other weapons? Do you have a knife or anything?
Not that I saw.
During what portions of the attack was Anthony holding a gun?
When he stood up and said, "Shut the fuck up, or you're next."
All right, so that was after. Was after the attack or during the attack?
While Krivak was raping her.
Okay, and did that gun stay out during the time that he attacked her? Or did you put it back in his
He
waistband?
must have put it back, because as soon as I said something, that's when the gun came out, and he said to me, "Sit the fuck down, or you're next." And then I didn't see a gun anymore.
You didn't see a gun anymore.
He could have thrown it out the van. I don't know. Could have put it in the woods with her. I have no idea.
By the way, I'm guessing that when you told Castaldo about the 9mm gun, he had a lot of questions about that, right?
Right.
He wanted to know exactly what it looked like, correct?
Yes.
He wanted to know each time he had seen it afterward, right?
Yes.
Did you tell him where in Anthony's house he kept it?
I didn't know where he kept it in his house.
All right, but that's the kinds of questions Castaldo was asking you about.
Yes.
He really wanted to know what happened with that gun.
Yes.
And he was really interested when you told him that he sold it to drug dealers, right?
Right. Yes.
He seemed really interested in that. Took lots of notes.
He must have.
Okay.
I didn't see.
Did you
him
talk
take
about it
notes.
more than? Did you talk about it more than once?
No.
Okay. Just give me 30 seconds, please, off the record.
We're off the record at 11:16 a.m. We're on the record at 11:17 a.m. This is the beginning of Disc 2.
Miss Rose, have you witnessed any other murders?
No.
This is the only one.
Yeah.
So there's no way for you to confuse this murder with another murder, right?
No.
Okay. Now, you testified in a number of different trials, correct?
Yes.
All under oath.
Yes.
Each time you testified, you were prepared by the prosecutor, correct?
Yes.
And you had a number of meetings with Castaldo, correct?
Yes.
He came to your house a number of times.
Yes.
He went through what you had seen and what you had heard numerous times with you.
Yes.
And you went through exactly what you saw and heard numerous times under oath at trial
Yes.
back in 97, right?
Yes.
And even 2016.
Yes.
You testified repeatedly about everything that you saw in the murder, correct?
Yes.
Can you explain why you've never mentioned to anyone before today that Anthony DePippo had a gun?
I didn't mention it.
Well, I've read everything. I've read every piece of your testimony. I've read everything in each trial, and there is no mention of a gun.
I don't know why. That's why I said before. I don't know why it was never entered in any information.
Okay. The reason it was never mentioned in any information is because you just made it up today, correct?
No, that's not correct.
The first time you ever told anybody anything about a gun is today under oath, correct?
No, that's incorrect.
Okay. And you're as sure about that gun as you are that Anthony DePippo committed this murder, correct?
I am positive.
Okay. And you remember testifying about the gun at the trials, correct?
Yes.
You remember testifying, you remember telling Castaldo about the gun in your interviews, correct?
Right.
Remember him writing it down?
Yep.
Correct. And you're as certain about that as you are that Anthony DePippo committed this crime, correct?
That's true.
And you would never lie and make up a gun to make yourself look better, right?
You would have to be sick to make up any of this.
Okay. You'd have to be sick to make up that Anthony DePippo had a 9mm gun pointed in your face when he really didn't, right?
Yeah, you would. You'd also have to be sick to rape and murder a 12-year-old girl.
We agree on that.
Yeah, well, you should do something about your little client then.
All right.
Like put him back in jail where he belongs. That's sick. Exonerated. What a farce. He brainwashed himself to believe that he was not there and did not commit the crime. What don't you understand about that? You don't get it. You're just there for the money to defend him.
So you think you believe that Anthony thinks he didn't commit this crime?
Yeah, he knows in his brain that he didn't commit the crime. Oh, God saved me. I don't commit a crime. He killed a girl.
But you agree that he believes he didn't.
No, I know he committed it. I know he killed a girl. I watched him with my own eyes kill a girl and drag her out of the van dead. I heard the death rattle. I saw what they did to her, and he killed her and took her out. You don't understand what he brainwashed you too.
Tell me about the death rattle.
It's when you have your underwear and your socks and bra shoved down your throat,
Yeah.
okay? And you're suffocating and you can't breathe.
So what does it sound like?
It's you know what the death rattle is.
And you heard that.
I heard her and I saw her in the van, lifeless.
And you'll never forget hearing
I
that.
will never forget that
You'll
sound.
never forget hearing that death
I will
rattle.
never forget it because the Pitbull and Kreevac are the ones that did
Listen.
it. No, I'm listening.
You're never going to forget hearing that death rattle.
I will
right?
never in my life forget the murder that those two did.
I'm asking about something very specific.
Yes, I'll never forget the death rattle.
Okay. And you also testified about that.
Yes, I did.
And you told Castaldo about that.
That she was lifeless coming out of that van.
And that you heard the death rattle.
I heard it. Dude, her head was right by my knee. How could you not hear that?
Right. And
Right.
that's what you told everybody when they asked. You
Right,
heard,
and that's
you
the
heard the death
truth.
rattle.
That is the truth.